Well, Pacelli and Boomer, they're grizzled and gray, talking about Star Wars from back in the day. Got a talk show called Geeky Geezers, it's true, spinning old tales about the stuff they went through. From Atari to Trek, they know every line. Geeky Geezers, man, they're feeling just fine. Pacelli's got a lightsaber, swings it with pride. Boomer's got a game but plays it deep in the night. They're ranting about He-Man and old X-Men too. On Geeky Geezers, they're the nerdiest crew, talking Transformers, toys that twist and they turn, singing blues for the geek life, their hearts still burn. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're sitting in the studio, mics turned up loud, reminiscing about Super Friends, feeling so proud. Pacelli loves Spider-Man, Boomer's for Hulk. They argue about Star Trek with passion and both. From Betamax tapes to their old D20s, Geeky Geezers where the nostalgia flows. They got fans in the chat, from the young to the old, tuning in to hear stories that never get told. Talking Ghostbusters, Proton Packs, Toys in the Box, and Saturday mornings with cartoons that rocks. Pacelli and Boomer, they're keeping it real. Geeky Geezers with that old school feel. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're singing the blues for the games that they play, for the VHS tapes and the arcades that pray. But the spirits are young, though their hair's turning white. Geeky Geezers keep the nerd fire alight, so tune in each week to the Geeky Geezers show, where Pacelli and Boomer let the good times flow. From X-Files to X-Men, they're dropping the news, singing praises of geek life with them old blues. Pacelli and Boomer, forever they'll be. Geeky Geezers living wild and free.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Geeky Geezers. Oh, I'm still the Hulk, aren't I?
Yes, you are. We had a great time on Friday talking Incredible Hulk. Well, as mentioned briefly in the opening song.
That's true. Well, we'll keep. I'll stick it out as the Hulk for the stream. Why not?
Lynn Green is saying, "Hey, you look pretty good there."
I was like I say, I thought you said it was like a little green around the gills.
Well, yeah.
Of course, he doesn't have gills. That would be Namor. But anyway, moving on. Actually, some guy in the chat. Actually, Namor doesn't have gills. Okay, that's not how it works. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Actually, we do have some Marvel news tonight, of a retro variety, which I'll get into later. But oh, Big Al, welcome. Have a great show tonight. Thank you, Big Al. And what am I doing? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Geeky Geezers. I'm your host, Agent Boomer. This is my co-host, Pacelli.
This is the new media. This is us taking the entertainment and information distribution into our own hands. Just you're going to have to deal with this revolution. And anybody who's still following the old lamestream media, who thinks that that's the only way to be a professional, you can go take your elitist self and stow yourself, because this is a revolution, my friends. Be the new media.
I guess as opposed to the legacy media.
Exactly. The legacy, lamestream, biased media that nobody is paying attention to anymore. This is why they're all being laid off from all of those positions, and the shills are not being listened to. I'm just saying, do it for yourself, because these companies are history.
And I also want to welcome my other co-host, Netter of Netters Network, otherwise known as the Gazette.
Good evening.
Yeah, I don't know though. We got some major news tonight that may have an impact on certain legacy media. Actually, so
I would say so. And while it is positive in one aspect, I think there's reason to be very concerned. I'm gonna be conservative and say reticent.
Well, we'll table that till we get to the articles. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should be interesting. Connie Cleary, welcome. Hail the chat. Thank you, Connie. JPRPH1, welcome. Unscripted raid.
Thank you so
Yes.
much for that unscripted raid. Deleted scenes.
Welcome to Lee Scenes. I think he was discussing what happened at the BAFTA Awards recently.
That is,
Yes.
this is one of those things where when you talk about predictive, people saying things predictively, Jordan Peterson predicted this a long time ago. He said, what happens when you have this level of intersectionality, you keep dividing people more and more and more and more, and eventually those intersectional groups are going to come into conflict. And that's exactly what you have here. Wait, we have a racial component here, but we also have a disability component. Which one is okay for us to side with over the other one? That's what it's now become.
We could just be civilized and realize that some people don't have control over that thing because of a disability.
Right. I mean,
yes.
I think Critical Drinker said it just fine. Two things can be true at once. Yes, that word can be very offensive, but it can also be true that there are people in this world that have a disability that are unable to not say the most offensive thing because of, I've compared it to epilepsy.
Right.
A seizure that happens in the brain that you literally have no control over. That does not mean a lowering of inhibitions. That does not mean that you even thought the word. It's just a crazy thing about the way the brain works involuntarily. The word exists, therefore, boom.
And yep. Here's Netter's in the chat. She's also with us.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Charlotte Nightstar, welcome. Always good to see you. Is this Halloween? Is there a full moon out tonight that I'm unaware of?
No, but we have a werewolf in the.
I understand. Let me see. Do you ever see the one Underworld movie that was the prequel that went more into lichens? That was interesting.
I'm not sure I saw it. But then I'm way behind on the movies that I want to see.
It might have been a Romeo and Juliet where I think a lichen and a vampire fall in love. It was like it was a prequel to the other Underworld movies. Yes,
that's very, very Romeo and Juliet.
Here's something interesting. That word that we're not going to say, that's derogatory.
Mm-hmm.
That is the word "you" in Korean.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they say that word all the time because it literally means the word "you."
Wow.
That's right. I've heard that in those Asian. What are they called that Mr. Matchstick used to send us? The girls that play the video games and comment on them in Korean.
Oh, yeah, no, the VTubers.
The VTubers, yeah. And she kept saying that word over and over again because they use it as the American epithet here,
right.
And she thought that was so funny, and she's basically going you,
yes.
And it's like, oh no, you probably shouldn't be saying that.
Explain the context of the game that it was being played on. Real White Nation Gaming recap, welcome. Lynn Green, welcome. Oh, Lynn Green, you should tune in if you didn't get a chance to tune into our Friday stream. The one we did, because all about the Hulk. And he's green, right?
The rest of in peace to the men who took the power from a hateful four-letter word that applied to me. Yeah, well, it's being applied to everyone these days. Unfortunately, when you start using a word indiscriminately, it loses all meaning.
Sorry, I lost. Why can't I see that? I can't see my chat thing anymore. Do you mind if I leave and come right back in? I'm going to do that.
You do that while I continue to say hi to people.
That's fine. Let me do that.
Did we say hi to Jesse Guajardo? Welcome, Jesse Guajardo, if we didn't. And of course, Curtis Selby, the tired midnight vlogger. Let me tell you something. I understand the tired. I really do. And thanks to, even though I'm saying it now that he's not even here, thanks to Aged Boomer, who took care of the notes for me today, because I was the tired midnight blogger last night at 2 a.m.
just from playing Fallout 4.
And thanks so much for mentioning that. Now I look like a complete ass.
It's
to Age of Gamer.
okay. It's okay. It's okay. Anyway, I was happy to do it. I learned how to do the shortening of the URLs. All right.
That was the one other thing I wanted to thank you for. I saw that in there and I was like, I'm still going to have to shorten these URLs. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he did it. Oh my gosh, this is wonderful.
In Troy's defense, I think he said, I'm only going to play for 10 minutes. And then he realized it was 4 hours later. That can happen.
I'm telling you, this game is so damn immersive. You actually almost start caring for the NPCs. It's like I'm running around from farm to farm trying to protect these people from raiders. Oh yeah. Fallout is a post-apocalyptic world where you have these settlers trying to survive on these little farms, and you go around and get them to, join your faction and we'll protect you and whatnot. And you'll come to this farm. It's just like a father and two sons, and one of his sons has been kidnapped by raiders or whatever, and he's like, please, I can't afford to pay for the ransom. And you go into whatever place they're in, and oh yeah.
See, you and I are different with these games. When I run into NPCs, I tend to have kind of contempt for them. I'm
Well,
playing...
don't get me wrong. The baddies, I'm all fired up about, exploding them. Sometimes it's even really funny. You hit them with a critical and the body goes flying up into space. I mean, seriously, it just shoots up into the air and you can't even see.
I like killing things. Yes. I mean, I like in Legend of Zelda, the Breath of the Wild, like when I'm in town and I run into this, nice young elfin maiden type, and her name is Paya, and she's very shy. And I'm like, why do they call you Papaya or Paya? Because I have a papaya shaped, I think it was like a papaya shaped something, a birthmark on. I don't want to say where. And then like you have a response saying, where is it? And then if you ask where is it, this old lady next to us, she's getting all uncomfortable. And the lady next to us, you don't have to answer that. Okay. Like, don't answer that. And I'm like, hey, I'm the hero that's going to save y'all. I want to know where that birthmark is. I was reading online that it's on her butt, apparently.
I'm sure it must be. But no, then, you were talking about contempt for the NPC. The mission I was on last night, the father is asking for help with his kidnapped son, and I got to go after the kidnapped son. The only problem is, remember, this is a video game where these missions are randomly generated.
Oh wow! Okay.
And this is the second time I'm rescuing this damn kid. I'm like, guys, come on! Can you figure this out already? It's not like I didn't put all kinds of defenses all around your maybe, go hide in the bunker when the raiders come, okay? And then call us to come help you, because he keeps getting freaking kidnapped. It's like, okay, sorry.
No, it's
I
all right.
Obviously care way more than I should about these fictional characters.
Oh, welcome. One day you'll have to do one of those, what do they call it? Let's play streams. You could be showing where you're
I possibly could do that. Yeah.
It'd be on a Friday sometime, or like on your, was it Liquid Lunch or something? You could do a game.
Maybe. I think we missed Hoot Owl. Let's not forget Hoot Owl.
Oh, Hoot Owl. Okay, welcome.
There? And,
Fallout is Troy Civilization. I do not allow myself to install Civilization. I unhook my game systems while I'm in school because they're too distracting.
I don't know anything. Is Civilization? Is it like a Sim City kind of thing?
I think so.
Are building up civilizations and defending them against other civilizations.
Like you could be Caesar or Cleopatra or various other leaders or something. I think that's what it is. I'm not positive.
And I did say to Netter when I started playing this, I said, this really does fill that niche that I miss from The Sims. I would play The Sims and I would actually start to care about the characters like God caring for his people, and it'd be like, would you go eat something? You're gonna starve to death. What's wrong with you? If you have to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom.
You know what I'll say about this? I think I'm sort of that way with Animal Crossing because I've decided now that I'm older and wiser as opposed to young boomer when he first played the first Animal Crossing back when he
Mhm.
was in his 20s. I've decided don't torment the other villagers. You be civil to them, even if they're not being civil to you. You be a good neighbor. So I'm sort of on that when I play that game, even though they're
Yeah.
NPCs,
You know,
But
I'm not sure what Jesse's referring to. I'll have to look for it. But I could almost see this. I could almost see him saying to the princess, "Look, I understand. You are a political figure, and there's value, and people, kidnap you for whatever reason. But there comes a point when it's happened so many times. Not that I'm saying it's okay to blame the victim, but after a certain point, you got to ask yourself, what are you doing or not doing that is leading to this happening over and over and over again?
Right? It's like, do you have a sign going, kidnap me?
I am the one to kidnap.
It's Bowser. He has an obsession with Princess Peach, okay?
Apparently so, yeah.
Not all the time, though. Sometimes he goes on other tangents where he wants to take over
See,
the
I guess
world
that's
or
where the
something.
analogy breaks down because, in my case, I would have gone to the hideout and completely blown him away and then gotten her back. And then it's going to have to be someone else because Bowser is just obliterated.
I don't think you can just blow him away because I have to tell you, I in the original game, you can throw him into the lava. He comes back. Okay?
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
Okay. Wow.
Oh, he's in God mode.
it's a cartoon, okay? It's
Yeah.
it's like Looney Tunes. That's how you want to look at the Mario games in a way, or Mickey Mouse. It's like it's not. This isn't like Grand Theft Auto. I don't know how realistic Grand Theft Auto is. As at least
Okay.
has good
Hoot
Doom
Owl
lore.
says Animal Crossing at least has good Doom lore. Now, either I don't understand Doom well enough, or I had no idea what.
Is there an Animal
Crossing
Crossing Doom mod that now I have to go hunt for? Is
Oh
that?
my gosh!
See, I don't. I wouldn't go around unless it's
I wouldn't
I'd
mind
like to
seeing a
shoot
Mario
him.
Kart Doom skin.
I guess they have some cool Doom skins out there. They had a Batman one which looked really cool, actually. But all right, I guess it's time for us to bring up the presentation.
Yes. There. I forgot that I actually
It's
have
a
to
big
go
one
to the screen.
tonight. All right.
Yes.
So here we go. We're gonna talk about the good old days of
Activision. This was the heyday of, for me, it was the Atari 2600. Okay, so you go to the store and you want to get Fruit Loops, right? And your mom goes, "Yeah, but you know what? The store brand Fruit-O's are, the same exact thing. They're just a little bit cheaper. Let's go with those." And you get them home and you're like, "Yeah, this is okay. It's not exactly Fruit Loops, but it's okay."
is that what
That's
Activision?
Activision.
That's what Activision.
Well, that's I'm being unfair to Activision because that's not really how I feel about it, but I think that was the impression that Activision kind of gave off.
Were the cartridges cheaper?
Yeah, they were for
That's
some
very
titles. Yeah,
interesting. Okay,
yeah.
so here
And they really did cut corners too a little bit. So we've talked about these cartridges on the 2600 before, where the 2600 had they were all very uniform, very rounded edges, hard black
Yes.
plastic, and on the business end, the end that went into the machine, it had this flap that protected the inner circuitry and stuff. Well, Activision didn't exactly have that. It had a completely open front with some of them had a little bit of foam stuffed in there, but basic to keep the dust out or whatever. But by and large, it was pretty unprotected. So they were a little bit more cheaply made as a cartridge goes. Sometimes the fit was a little, I don't want to say wonky, but required a little bit of jiggling sometimes. But
these were not licensed by Atari.
Exactly. This was a what do you call it?
I would call it a third party, but when I usually think
yeah.
of third party in regards to like Nintendo or Sega or Sony PlayStation, it's usually they look, we're going to bring out our cartridge or our game on your system and we'll give you a cut of the profits because you're the console owner. but we can also make profit off of your game console as well. That's how it used to work. But then every so often, even on the old NES, you'd have companies like, funny enough, Atari's yelling at Activision about making the unofficial cartridges, but then Atari themselves went on to make unofficial cartridges on the original Nintendo Entertainment System in the form of those Black Tengen cartridges, which were not officially
Yes.
licensed. Electronic Arts, I think, on the Sega Genesis made some unofficial Genesis cartridges for a while. I think Sega wasn't as nasty as Nintendo was, but I think eventually they said, look, guys, you got to sign on and be licensed with us. You can't just be bringing stuff out. But I don't think they were quite as harsh as Atari or Nintendo were. But yeah.
Real quick on a slide back to what we were talking about before. Wait a minute. Where was it? He said, just search Doom
I'll
Crossing.
do it.
I just did. And yeah, Boomer, you need to check this out. It's worth it. But the other thing was, I joked about the whole Fruit Loops thing. It's not like they put out, like the cheaper version of Space Invaders or something like that. What they did was they put out different games that didn't exist.
Yes.
In the Atari line. Some of them were, as I recall, some of them were licensed properties too, weren't they? Like,
I don't remember.
Wasn't the Star Wars game through Activision?
I don't know because I didn't get them. I didn't look that up. But the thing about it is, no, I don't think it would have been. No, because I think Atari made the Star Wars arcade game in the arcade.
No, not the arcade game. I mean, like the side scrollers and the there was the one that was the Jedi Arena one. They were very, very unique.
Of course, Pitfall, very revolutionary game. I actually had this on the Atari 800 computer.
I loved this game. There were days I would go over by my friend Pat's house, and we would just play Pitfall for hours to see how high a score we could get. And this was a game where it didn't get faster or harder or anything like that as you went. You just kept playing and playing and playing until you ran out of, your whatever, 3 lives or whatever it was.
Did Pitfall have an end?
No, it did not. At least none that we ever found.
It makes you think there's one, but you always die before you could get to it because basically there are all sorts of traps. You could jump on a vine like Tarzan and go across a pit or a lake. There are alligators that you have to jump on their heads in the right spot.
And honestly, I used to think of this as Indiana Jones. This was a better game, in my opinion, than the Atari licensed Indiana Jones game.
That happens sometimes. Sometimes your officially licensed game, the game that's paying homage tends to be better because
this was also if you go back one, because it actually had a picture of the screen that you could see.
Well, I'm going to get to the games in a minute too, but yeah,
you see where
let me just go over. Hold on, there we go.
Oh, okay.
There's Pitfall.
So,
it's Pitfall.
Yeah. So this is actually a 2-level game. So that's Scorpion down on the bottom. That's a scorpion. That white.
Watch out for scorpions.
Yes, but he's on a level below where you're at. Pitfall Harry, I believe, was the name of the character.
Yes, Pitfall Harry.
You have to leap from the bank on the left side there, from a very specific place.
Oh yeah.
To land on a very specific place on the crocodile's head. If you don't, you're going to get swallowed. And then you got to jump from crocodile to crocodile and then to the shore. And again, if you don't leap from a very specific place to the shore, you're going to drown. Now, there are other places where you could fall into a pit. Pitfall Harry, right? Where you would be on the lower level. And then you'd be dealing with that scorpion. So you can run back and forth, up and down on, on this. That I thought was pretty cool.
I used to find the scorpion terrifying until I played an Atari 800 game called Mountain King. Because in Mountain King, you'd fall into the pit and there would be a spider. And the spider would come up to you and it would make this noise. And then suddenly you have webbing all over you and you can't move. And you got to be moving that joystick around, moving to get the webbing off. Because if you don't, the spider comes after you, and then it starts eating you alive, and like the pixel gets downgraded, and you hear the
my God,
as a kid freaked me out.
Oh
But
my
the
God,
scorpion,
that's
you just die
terrible.
instantly. It's not as terrifying as being eaten slowly. But that was a Milton Bradley game, I believe.
Wow.
But yeah, here's some advertising. Are you chicken enough to play Freeway? It's just like a Frogger knockoff.
Yeah, I do believe this one was a Frogger knockoff, yes. And it
You're-
wasn't significantly better or worse. It was almost identical, as I recall it.
And that's Pitfall 2: The Lost Caverns. But yeah, let's get into some of these games here. That's what the cartridges would look like.
Yeah.
I always like the artwork on
It's
these.
actually
That's
not a
actually rather
bad
cool.
representation of the game. I mean,
Yeah.
it shows it to you, and what you actually get isn't that far from this.
The thing about Activision games, in some ways, they're less ambitious than some of the Atari titles that came out, but I think they play better because
Yeah.
we understand that this is not even an 8-bit console, because this is not what you're getting
Yeah.
in the arcade. We're not going to try to be the arcade. We're going to try to work with what we have and just
Yeah.
try to make something that's simple and enjoyable. And I think these might play like how we have game collections that have mini games in them. In fact, I'm surprised no one's
Yeah.
actually tried doing a mini game out of these old Activision games. Kaboom! I don't know if you've heard of this one.
I've seen this one. I don't think I ever actually played it. I did not own it. I had a friend who did have it. Yes,
Look
the
at that.
idea was dropping these like baseball bombs on people.
Are you trying to get out of prison? Is that what this is all about? Because you're wearing.
I
the,
actually don't
striped
remember. You were
jumpsuit.
trying to blow up something, and it was one of these things where you had to drop it. I think that little doodah, whatever that is in the lower right hand corner, was moving back and forth, and you would either you'd spam a whole bunch of bombs, or you'd have to try and drop it in front of it to hit it. You get the idea.
It's
Oh,
kinda
I
like
see. Because
Reverse
I
Space Invaders.
Kind of like, yeah, she's right. Kind of like Reverse Space Invader, sure.
a lot of these games you'll find out. I don't want to say knocked off Space Invaders. Like one of my favorites, which I don't know if it was an Activision title at the time. I think Activision must have bought it, called Demon Attack, which was a lot like Space Invaders. You'd shoot these things flying at the screen, and then you'd shoot them, and then more would zoom in, and it was actually
Sure.
rather fast paced. But I didn't include that because I wasn't for certain if at the time it was an Activision game, though it is always included on their collections now. River Raid, this was a big one, which people talk about. I have no idea.
I don't think I know this one either, although I've seen gameplay for it online. I recognize all of the covers you're showing me, though, because I used to kind of salivate over the advertisements.
How much were Atari games back in the day, if you don't mind my asking? They were like $30, or were they more expensive than that?
I got to be honest, these were all purchased for me, so I don't really.
We don't know, yeah, because I can't imagine they were more than 30. Because they often look at NES cartridges and they think 50, but really it was only that was like the highest end of NES cartridges, 50. Like Mario Brothers 3 would be 50, but a lot of them were in the 40ish range.
I real quick
it's
want to thank Tim Hayes for 16 months of memberships. I super appreciate that, my friend. Did you catch Last Call on Friday? Tony Roberts was our very special guest for a Incredible Hulk themed stream that went over 3 hours. We were at it for quite some time, and I put away almost a whole bottle of Intrigue. So it was an interesting stream.
It was a fun stream. We kind of ran
Yeah.
the gamut, and we didn't cover absolutely everything, but we got through a lot of it. Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole Hulk history. Ice hockey.
I don't remember this cover. Let me see if I recognize the gameplay. Oh, I did play this at a friend's house one time. Yeah.
See,
This
this is what we
Activision-
had, and we were happy.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It really was. Sometimes it's not about the graphics, it's about the gameplay. And I remember I do think a lot of the sports games, Activision did a lot of the sports games, which a buddy of my uncle's used to really, really like. He liked all the sports related games.
Yeah. It's funny. The big console I grew up with that was big on the sports games was Sega Genesis. For some reason, they ran faster. That's why people liked them on the Genesis. Nintendo was slow. But yeah, Nintendo had an ice hockey game that makes this look like. It looks way more advanced than this, even though I look at it now and I think it's kind of simplistic looking. Sequest. Is this the
Oh
inspiration
yeah.
for the television series? What is the Sequest video game
Well,
cartridge?
I don't know about that, but
Look at that shark, huh? Look at that.
This looks familiar.
yeah.
Did you ever play the Atari Netter? Maybe these things ring a bell to you as well. I don't know.
I didn't
But
own one. A friend of mine had one,
okay.
but I played it like a couple of times. But
Yeah, I was just gonna
Yeah.
say. I just know. Yeah, at the bottom there you have the. Okay, this is the last. Thank you very much.
The oxygen.
Yeah, you are you can only stay under for so long, and well, of course, if you get eaten by a shark, you die. Right? If you get
So this
shot
is
by
like-
the subs, you die.
So this is like a proto Echo the Dolphin game. Echo the Dolphin was a game for the Genesis where when you even though you played a dolphin, you still had to come up for air or look for pockets of air somewhere in the ocean because dolphins need air. You know, they
Right.
try to explain that. You know, they still have to. You know,
God bless you.
Gesundheit. All right. Let's see. Spider Fighter, huh? Whoa.
Yikes!
You're thinking this is the multi-meal cereal of video games. That's what this is.
God bless you.
Okay, so this looks a lot like
Space Invaders.
Space Invaders or like Missile Command or something like that. At least as far as Atari 2600.
They said
Yeah,
this is partly what led to the downfall of Atari, though, was the fact that anyone could make cartridges for it. Suddenly, cartridges just started. The shelves just started getting flooded with games, and because of that, you know, people can't afford to buy every game. And also, if you put out a lot of games of bad quality, suddenly the entire console market crashes. Now, to be fair, Atari released some stinkers too.
True.
I heard the ET game was atrocious.
Oh my gosh, that one is terrible. I'll tell you what, the Indiana Jones game is only slightly better. They are essentially the same game in a lot of ways.
I mean, come on, when you think of what game do you want, I want to play the Raiders of the Lost Ark game.
Yeah, until you see, oh, this is nothing like
Raiders of the Lost Ark,
yeah.
yes. Look at this Enduro. Look at that. You want to race, huh? Look at that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That is
what
pretty
we had
cool.
before Gran Turismo.
This reminds me of there was and you probably don't have it. There was another and I think it was Activision. I don't think it was an Atari game. It's called Dragster.
Oh.
And the cars looked very similar, but it was a side scroller. And it was a 2-player game, and you were just racing against your opponent, trying to get the best time. And you had to your button was your accelerator, and the joystick was the gear shift. So you had to shift gears, and the one who did it the most efficiently, you know, would usually be the one to win because you get up to speed fastest. But I just kind of jam on it, and sometimes I'd go up to fourth gear or whatever it is way too fast, so it would be real sluggish in getting me going. So my dad would always win because he knew what he was doing with it. But
cool.
But that was a side scroller. This one is more of a what do they call this? Isometric 3D or like fake 3D?
I guess it's trying to make you think of 3D.
Right. And this was how it went back, and it was functional. You those whatever that is that's coming at you would get bigger as it got closer to you, and you'd have to avoid it. And you were hoping that you missed it and your opponent ran into it.
Namco made some pole position. Namco made a game called Pole Position. Is this supposed to be budget pole position?
Could be, yeah.
Let me see. I bet that's what it is. Is there a picture? Yeah, okay. Because pole position at the time was pretty advanced, but even now, by today's standards, yikes. Moving on to I just love the cover for this one. I just love the cover.
That actually is really good artwork. I do have to say that would get me to at least look at the game. Yeah.
Should have the David Bowie song playing in the background when you play the game Under Pressure, right?
Yeah, right. Maybe, yeah.
I guess this is like their version of Burger Time.
Yes, it is. And now that I see it, I remember it. Did not own this one. I don't even know for sure that I had a friend who had it, but I had seen this game, and this was, I can tell you right now, without having owned the game myself or played it, I can almost guarantee you this was one of the games where you had to read the instructions to understand what the symbols at the right meant, what the check marks at the bottom were. I think you would get an order and you had to follow a recipe, and the recipes would get more and more complicated, and you weren't supposed to make mistakes. Yeah. Give me the old school games anytime. No politics or propaganda, just fun. I agree so much.
Well, I will say this: the gamers themselves, they tend to reject a lot of the games that get political, or as we call woke, because usually it's an indicator that you hired people that aren't good at programming, and the game is going to suck gameplay wise, not just about the content. And usually that's true. It's not like Hollywood where you can sort of keep failing at this stuff and stay afloat, like Alex Kurtzman. Did you know? Not to get off on a tangent here, I just realized something. Remember the Mummy movie with Tom Cruise, the one that was supposed to start the Dark Universe, and it was a disaster?
Oh, yeah.
Alex Kurtzman was the director of that. Did you know that?
It doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Why do they keep giving this guy opportunities? Sorry.
I would argue that back then nobody knew who Alex Kurtzman was, so it wasn't,
It's terrible.
I mean, because
movie.
honestly, Tom Cruise would not have worked with him if he was working with him like today.
I was surprised because I thought Tom Cruise was very careful with the projects he picked, because it's getting late in his career and he wants to make sure that he's picking.
Usually is,
good
and I think
movies.
he was sold a bill of goods,
Yes.
and he chose poorly. It happens.
Chopper Command, is this like Missile
I
Command?
do remember. No. Chopper Command was more like a Commodore game called Fort Apache.
I see.
Fort Apache was a better game. Obviously, it was Commodore 64. It was generations beyond this, but this was still a pretty good game. I like the idea behind it. Another side scroller.
Yeah, they got a picture of it here. Look at
Yep.
that. Got the
Yep.
choppers going after. I thought maybe this was a proto Desert Strike. That was a game on the Sega.
And what was really cool is this had, you see it on the bottom, represented in even lower resolution, is a map of, so you could kind of see when it works almost like a radar, because you would know, you can see your enemy is coming from the left there. You could, you can gauge where another one is behind you if you went the other way, and so forth, so that you don't, fly right into him, because, you don't realize where he's going to be just off screen. It's, it worked pretty well. And then you're looking for your targets, down on the bottom. Oh, okay, I got two to my right. I'd have to get past this guy to get to the ones on my left. So, yeah.
So I guess in some ways this is more like a Call of Duty Modern Warfare prequel, because Activision made the Call of Duty games. I'm kidding.
I mean, you absolutely could make that argument, sure.
I don't know what this Frostbite. What is this?
I don't know. I see the cover and it kind of makes me laugh, so I'm going to guess it was a humorous kids game.
It's Branson. Let's see. Look at that.
Oh yeah, this was kind of
Frogger.
like another Frogger type.
Another
of game,
Frogger.
yeah.
Why mess with a good thing, right? I mean, it's like, got to get to that igloo in the corner. You're going to get, or
Honestly,
you will get Frostbite. Yes. Okay.
Frogger was okay on the 2600. And again, I don't remember if that was an Atari specific game or not.
Konami, I believe.
It was Konami. Okay.
Yeah, one of Konami's. I think their big claim to fame early on. I have to say, out of all the retro classic games from the heyday of arcades, I think Frogger's my least favorite. Like I can appreciate Pac-Man and Space Invaders and Q*bert and things like that, but for some reason, Frogger just always bugged me. I don't know why.
Welcome, by the way, Geek Flag with Nate knows. He says Alex Kurtzman was not only the director, but he was also the writer, and he was the co-writer of the original screenplay. Yeah. Well, you know what? Then you should not be surprised that it failed so miserably. I feel unseen. What's going to happen to WB, especially with its cartoon lineup. Well,
We'll talk about that in a bit.
we will be getting to that one. That is the big one tonight. We will get there.
Moving on to, I thought you might appreciate this one, Keystone
Keystone
Capers.
Capers. I remember the advert for this on TV. It was actually quite humorous.
Is that like the London Bobby going after like some kind of criminals or something?
Exactly.
Yes. Let's just look at
Exactly.
this. I don't know. And not the best graphics here, but if you look at other levels, it actually does look like a Keystone Cop chasing after
Yeah.
bad guys. it
You
looks
notice again on the bottom, you got the you could see the entire game area. You're only seeing the slice of it, but you can see because you're trying to find. I think you're the cop and you're trying to find the bad guy. Well, you can see where the bad guy is, but it's a little bit of a maze to get up and down the different levels. I think you're in a mall or something like that.
very cool. And this is my last one. I had to put this on here. I've never heard of this one. Plaque Attack.
Yes, this was a game to get you to brush your teeth.
Was it approved by the what is it, the National Dentists Association, where they always say approve your toothbrush or something? It's like you play as a tube of toothpaste, and I guess you're attacking the evil sugar dustos that are going to try and create cavities. So look at there, you're in the mouth. See the teeth.
Oh, that's kind of gross.
I've never heard of this game until I
don't think I have either, but
look at that.
yeah.
Activision, though, man, they cranked them out, but some of them were actually rather good, and they've released these in collections over the years, and we might be having another collection coming out, which I'll be mentioning tonight, because of course I try to tie the good old days into the article. So it's what we had back in the day, folks. I mean, I had Pitfall on the Atari computer. I remember that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was like a souped up cartridge, because obviously the 800 computer was a fully 8-bit computer, whereas this is, what is this, 4-bit or maybe 2-bit? The 2600.
And I gotta
don't
say,
know what it is. Go ahead.
Like the only one of these that I avidly played was Pitfall, but Pitfall, for the limitations, the bits that it had to work with, the graphics were perfectly acceptable, and the sound was actually not bad. When you would jump and grab hold of the vine to swing, it did a very rudimentary, but you knew what it was going.
I knew what it was.
It was the Tarzan call.
Yep.
Da, 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 da. It was clearly meant to be the
did it better than Chewie did in the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Do you remember when that happened? And I rolled my eyes. Was that in the original 80s version, or was that in the special edition? It was probably in the 80s version, wasn't it?
No, it was in the original.
Oh,
it went wrong
George.
with the little teddy bears and a lot of other bit cringy things about Return of the Jedi, but I easily overlooked all that stuff because I was pretty fired up about
it's the sum of its parts. Yes, I get it. Yes. But yeah, there we go. That's Activision on the Atari 2600. I would assume Activision made games on other consoles, like were they on the Intellivision or the Magnavox Odyssey also? I don't know. I guess they went with Atari because they were the most popular, but theoretically, since they were not officially licensed, the fact that Atari take them to court.
I think they tried to. I don't know. I don't think anything came of it. I don't know.
Yeah. It's some shady business there. Okay. But there we go. And that's our good old days for the night. But I may have some updates on Activision Classics in a little bit. But our first story of the night, unfortunately, is a celebrity death. And I guess we could have done Revenge of the Nerds for good old days, but I've never been a huge fan of that movie, but I don't know.
It's funny because I mentioned earlier in the week that literally when Netter sent me the article for this, actually she sent it to you too. We got it at the same time. I looked up from my screen and literally the cover of Revenge of the Nerds is looking back at me from the top of the DVD shelf, and there's Robert Carradine holding up a pair of orange Lambda undies.
Yes.
if you remember
I
the story
remember
of
that.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes, I remember that. So Robert Carradine has died at age 71. He took his. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. The actor is best known for his roles in The Long Riders, Revenge of the Nerds, and Lizzie McGuire. A beloved member of the storied clan of actors, Carradine was the bedrock of his family, according to surviving older brother Keith Carradine, but he struggled for 2 decades with bipolar disorder, and ultimately it
Yeah.
got the best of him.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that was a result of a mental illness thing. I'm sorry to hear that. The family issued his statement to Deadline. It is a profound sadness that we must share their beloved father, grandfather, uncle, and brother Robert Carradine has passed away in a world that can feel so dark. Bobby was always a beacon on light to everyone around him. We are bereft of the loss of this beautiful soul. I want to acknowledge Bobby's valiant struggle against this nearly 2-decade battle with bipolar disorder. We hope his journey can shine a light and encourage addressing the stigma that attaches to mental illness. At this time, we ask for the privacy to grieve this unfathomable loss with gratitude to your understanding, and compassion.
This is
Yeah.
another example. There are a lot of attempts by there's this idea in science that you can explain everything through chemistry or biology or whatever, and there are many things that you can, but they want to explain every single mental illness as in quotes chemical imbalance. But here's an example of one that they pretty much understand, and they kind of get that, yeah, there are chemical imbalances involved, and they're not too dissimilar from people that are struggling with drug addictions, where you have these high highs and these low lows. Take a amphetamine to keep you going, but then in order to get to sleep or get some rest, you got to take something to calm you down, and then you get into this cycle, and it's
Awful.
it's very deadly. Well, unfortunately, this is a situation where your own body is kind of doing that to you, and you go through these manic periods where you're feeling like you're high and you're on top of the world and everything's great, and then you burn through all of your endorphins and you fall into debilitating depression. And it's not just being sad. It is you don't have the chemicals in your brain that allow you to have anything like a homeostasis. That's what bipolar disorder is. And you've got to have, if you guys were watching deleted scenes before this, just having compassion for someone who has no control over some element of their own psyche, no control over their brain, and it is just a horror show that you live in. To not be able to control some aspect of your life, your body, your own mind is it should horrify you. And to not have compassion for someone in that circumstance, you're just not a human being. You're just wrong.
Yeah, or maybe at the best ignorant. Maybe I would say that, but
incredibly so. Exactly.
But but I did want to bring up like his big successes though. Revenge of the Nerds.
I kind of started with Revenge of the Nerds, and I don't want to say he got typecasted. I guess he kind of did for a while. If you needed someone to be the nerdy character, you'd go to him. Or as he got older, the nerdy father, right?
Or Eddie Deason, that's the other guy, right? Who was the stereotypical nerd.
Exactly.
And he played guitar even though he had no training on it. That's interesting. I didn't know that. But I remember Revenge of the Nerds when that came out. That was where the nerds, it's like we're finally going to stick it to the people picking on us, right?
Oh yeah. It was. I love the movie. Well, obviously, I have it on DVD. It was a classic on constant recycle on cable.
It had every type of nerd in the group too.
Yes, well, not just nerd. They used nerd. I think this is where nerd became the term for anyone who was
an outcast from the group, because there was a black member of the group, and I think he was gay, and that was
he was
made him
gay,
an outcast.
and
made him the outcast. Yeah, and it was like
but
all different
in
things.
Every instance, there was another guy who was just very slovenly and
Booger, yes.
Booger, exactly, Booger. And but then of course you had the ones like the character played by Carradine, who were very, very intelligent, pocket protector, taped up glasses, the whole bit, funny laugh. And a little naive too. They go into college thinking, oh, everything's going to be awesome because we're so smart and this is a place of higher learning, only to realize these are just, high school kids on steroids. But you also get to see that all the people that are, in opposition to them are also very wealthy, maybe well-educated, but maybe not as intelligent. The football players who may not have been very intelligent, but they were big and
then
strong.
There was the kid that was
right.
Prodigy.
There was a kid who was very, very intelligent who had skipped a bunch of grades, but he's very much underage. Some of the humor in here, let's be honest, is very politically incorrect, especially in this day and age, and a little uncomfortable. They throw a party, and so you see the kid, and he's talking to these two girls, and he turns and looks one way and turns and looks at the other way, and because he's so short, he's at a certain level, and he turns and looks, then breaks the fourth wall and smiles.
That's funny. That's kind of funny, though. I'm sorry.
But they end up in a competition where it's the one fraternity against the other, and they all work with their own. They put their skills to work for them. So there's a competition where you got to drink every time you do a certain thing in a obstacle course, and the nerds have come up with
Booger does it.
Was it? Oh yeah, because he had, but he also took something, right? So that he had more resistance or something like that. Something that one of the nerds gave him. The gay guy is doing the javelin throw, and because the limp-wristed style that he has and whatever,
they adjusted the javelin so it would be for his limp-wristed
and
style.
It's hysterical because they show him in slow motion, kind of running in that kind of effeminate way, and the javelin is going boingy 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 boing, but when he throws it just keeps going and going and going.
Funny.
Still, rubber banding in air, and all of them have their skill and their strengths, and it was one of those. The underdog wins because just because you're an underdog doesn't mean you're not good at something that you can compete. So anyway,
like you have your own set of skills,
right? Embrace your differences and so forth. Yeah.
Another death this week.
This one was such a talented singer and songwriter. I loved his music. I really did.
Neil Sedaka. Am I getting that right?
Yes.
Legendary singer-songwriter behind hits like Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, Bad Blood, Laughter in the Rain and Calendar Girls Died. A rep confirms the variety. He was 86. Our family is devastated by the sudden passing of our beloved husband, father, and grandfather, Neil Sedaka. A statement from the family reads, a true rock and roll legend and inspiration to millions. Most importantly, at least to those of us who are lucky enough to know him, an incredible human being who will be deeply missed. A Brooklyn native and a veteran of the legendary Brill Building hit factory of the early 1960s, Sedaka scored 3 number 1 hits on the Billboard Hot 100 and 9 on the top 10, primarily due to his peak years in the early 1960s and a mid-70s comeback assisted by Elton John, who performed with him on Bad Blood. Sedaka wrote many songs that were hits for other artists, most notably Connie Francis's hits Stupid Cupid and Where the Boys Are, and nearly 15 years later, the captain to Neil's 1975 breakthrough chart topper, Love Will Keep Us Together. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And when you almost always associate songs with the people that popularize them, but then when you go, when that was written by Neil Sedaka, and then you think about it, and you think about his other tunes, you're like, oh, Yeah, I see that. I did the same thing with Prince. When I heard, some of the songs that he wrote for other artists, and I think about the song, I'm like, oh yeah, I can see that as a Prince song. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just goes on more detail of what I just said. But in October 2007, a concert in New York's Lincoln Center was staged in honor of the 50th anniversary of Sedaka's debut in show business. Guests included the Captain and Tennille, Natalie Cole, Connie Francis, and Aiken, among others. In 2022, Sedaka officially retired from songwriting and sold his song catalog to Primary Wave Music 2 years later. He's survived by his wife, Liba Strasberg, whom he married in 1962, and his 2 children, Mark and Dara. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, we're losing the greats every week.
I'll tell you, I love his music. Probably would never sing any of his songs in karaoke. He was in a completely different range than I am.
Yeah, like there's a
female soprano.
Yeah, I mean, some of them, yeah, he sang in a very high register. When you hear,
he had a very effeminate sounding voice. When he redid "Breaking Up Is Hard to Do" as that kind of slow melody,
yeah,
I thought it was a woman singing.
Yeah, you thought it was a cover of his, and it was. He was doing a cover of his own. He had a great voice, but just not in my range. I could not do his music justice. But yeah,
we'll have to look for his music.
Yep,
and you probably heard it before too.
Oh yes, quite a bit. Before we move on, let's say hi to Jamie Lynn. Good to see you there. Marc Malnekoff, who joins us from the dilithium mines of Aurora Pente. He knows a thing or two about being bipolar. And The Big Red One is an excellent World War II film. He basically plays Samuel Fuller. Oh, he's talking about Carradine. Yes. Thank you for that, deleted scenes. Yep.
All right, so moving on to the modern BS. Okay, no, not everything's
well,
BS.
Yeah.
I want to give credit. Who wrote this article? I think I have them down here. This is how people online should write articles, because there's no BS. I wanted to cover both of these things. They're both in the article, and it's not even long, because this is what I love. I just don't go on for 18 paragraphs trying to get to the point. Just get to the. That's what this writer
or 18 pages trying to run cover for whatever your opinion is.
Yes. There's that too. Just in case, okay, Xbox's new CEO discusses her gamer cred as a former exec laments the console's doomed future. Just in case that headline didn't clue you in, these are some very odd and extremely uncertain times for Microsoft's Xbox, particularly in the face of Phil Spencer stepping down as CEO to be replaced by Microsoft's core AI president Asha Sharma, not to mention all the layoffs, studio closures, and project unplugging within its games division. Do you mean you've closed more studios than games you've released in the last rest of the years? I don't think I'm being joking there. That's what's horrible.
You're not wrong. Okay. Not at all. No.
Obviously, the turmoil within Xbox would be the forefront in the mind of Seamus Blackie, one of Xbox's original co-founders. He's the one that was there at Xbox in the beginning, which he shared in an honest interview at GamesBeat as he mused about Sharma's background, Microsoft's tire-screeching pivot to AI, and what it all means for gaming. Blackie's opinion of Microsoft AI fixation doesn't sound particularly warm, as he views the company as using a generative AI as a hammer and everything is a nail to smash it with. This is a company that's trying to recontextualize the way we think about technology in its entirety, he says. They've decided that the lever point that's going to do that is generative AI models. They're looking to fit everything into a generative AI model. This, in turn, paints a grim future for Xbox in Blackie's estimation. Xbox, like a lot of businesses that aren't the core AI business, is being sunsetted. They don't say that, but that's what's happening. I expect that the new CEO, Asha Sharma, her job is going to be as a palliative care doctor who slides Xbox gently into the night. Yikes. In the interview, he also ruminates of how extremely smart people like Sharma can hit a wall if they don't develop a passion for games, discusses many of the misconceptions about the ease of entering and being successful in the industry, and offers Sharma some advice like speaking to executives who have weathered the gaming industry storms. It's an ultimately enlightening read worth the time. Okay, but Sharma herself is already trying trying to prove herself as someone to be trusted among gamers as she shared her Xbox gamer tag and related games activity, all of which invited a wave of scrutiny and even suggestions that AI was being used to craft her replies.
Wow.
To her credit, she doesn't appear to have shied away, even in the face of some Twitter pondering by IGN's Ryan McCaffrey. While she does admit in a reply to McCaffrey that her gamer tag was initially created to be shared among her family, she has stated that they now have their own tags and continues to remark on her ultimate designs for Xbox. I don't pretend to be the best gamer, and even though I'm playing, that's still not my goal, she writes. My focus is to make Xbox the best place to play, return to our roots, ship great things, and become stronger for the future. And yes, I'm writing my own posts. Do you know what would be funny? I just thought of this now. What if Asha Sharma turns out she's not a real human being and she's an AI creation? That
Entirely, yeah.
That was set to run Xbox now, because like none of us have ever seen her in person. Like we see her on Zoom calls, but we've never actually met her in person. It's just all an AI.
There you go. Yeah.
The future is not bright for Xbox. If you've not jump shipped yet, you may want to think about it. Unless that's all you got, then have fun with it while you can.
I mean,
that is a poster of beauty. Look at that.
Yeah.
You got the whole gamut there. You got Iron Man, Captain America. You got Magneto and Carnage looking sinister up there. It's like a Star Wars poster. And Cyclops and Wolverine and Spider-Man at the bottom. Hawkeye to the left. It's okay. Silver Surfer. You're probably wondering what this is. It is the Marvel Maximum Collection.
Well, yeah, I can read that. What is that?
It just got announced this week, so I'll read it to you. The physical distributor, Limited Run Games, who I've had issues with in the past, but I'll say this looks like a decent and interesting collection, is teaming up with Marvel and Konami to revive multiple retro games in the Marvel Maximum Collection. So they're bringing back old console and arcade games to put in this collection. The supersized collection, coming soon to Switch and other platforms, will feature 6 classic titles spanning across the arcade, 8-bit, and 16-bit consoles. The collection covers multiple genres and promises to take fans on a comprehensive tour of Marvel's gaming legacy. It won't just feature one version of a particular title either. It offers every major console and arcade iteration available. I do like it when they do that. Like, if there's like a Genesis version and a Super Nintendo version, give me both so I can try them out and see which I like better.
Right.
Here are the titles confirmed. X-Men the arcade game. Do you remember the old X-Men arcade game back in the day?
I do. Yes.
It's going to be in this. Yes. It's that's the one where you get to the end and you fight Magneto and he says, "I am Magneto, master of magnet."
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. That's what he says because it was a Japanese-made game. But the definitive mutant beat-em-up returns. Experience the legendary cabinet action with full online multiplayer. Oh, that's cool. Support up to 6 players. Choose your favorite X-Man and take on Magneto's army with the ultimate team-up experience. Well, you choose your favorite of the choices. For instance, Dazzler is in there. You know Dazzler?
I remember her since she was Disco Dazzler.
Yeah, she was created because of the disco movement right as disco was dying.
Yes. Yes.
Captain America and the Avengers arcade game. Do you remember that one? This was another... It's kind of like that where it's a beat 'em up and you can play as Iron Man, Captain America, Hawkeye, or Vision. Those are the 4 playable characters in that game. And guess who you're fighting against?
Who?
The Red Skull and his evil armies.
Oh, wow.
Red Skull's the main villain. Well, MCU, you really screwed up the Red Skull.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine in the Captain America movie. Like, I always saw the Red Skull as a A-list villain in Marvel, and then they never did anything with him after the Captain America movie.
True.
I don't understand it. Spider-Man Venom Maximum Carnage for the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. I got this in high school. I saved up my piddly allowance money. I remember this was coming out around the same time as Mortal Kombat 2, and they were both on my radar. I wanted this and Maximum Carnage. They were both being put out by Acclaim. And the neat thing about Maximum Carnage was that it actually was adapted from the Maximum Carnage. It was adapted from a comic series.
Right.
In Spider-Man comics. And they actually use the actual comic book panels as cutscenes to tell the
Yes.
story within the game.
Yes.
And we don't know why other companies didn't try doing this, because let's be honest with you, they couldn't do full motion
Because they
video
wanted to
on a
do their
cartridge.
own thing. Remember?
Well,
That's
sometimes,
how
yes.
media is adapted these days. We don't care about the source material. We want to do our own thing with it.
What's killing me though, the cutscenes were so cool. Someone is arguing they love the Death and Return of Superman game, but they said, "Oh, if they just done what they did with Maximum Carnage and used the actual comic book
Right.
panels as the intermission scenes, it would have been
Right.
amazing." And and they had Green Jello doing the soundtrack.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you know, the one that did the little pig.
Right, little
The
pig,
three
little
pig,
pig,
yeah, with
open the
Rambo.
door.
They
Yeah,
did the music
exactly.
for the game, yeah. So and it came on a red cartridge, which was kind of neat.
Cool.
It's all right. It's not bad. It's a beat 'em up. You
Right.
can play as either Spider-Man, and then later you can play as Venom. But you can also call on for help. Cloak and Dagger. I think Deathlock is his name. Um, Morbius. Captain America shows up. Apparently the plot of this comic series was Carnage breaks free from prison and basically joins up with a bunch of other supervillains, and Spider-Man just realizes, I can't handle this alone.
Yeah.
I need help. He basically says, I need help. And then other heroes come to the fray to help him out. Like Black Cat shows up to stop. Even Venom teams up with him. You know, Venom hates him because he hates Carnage more. So it's like, okay,
Right.
I'll help. We'll have a truce this one time and I'll help you take out
Right.
Carnage. Venom, Spider-Man, Separation Anxiety. Funny how Venom's getting lead on that title. That's another game that came out later on, which I never got. Spider-Man X-Men Arcade's Revenge has some of the that's another game in this collection, has some of the best music I ever heard on the Super Nintendo. A lot of 70s guitar, rock and roll soundtrack. The game
Nice.
itself wasn't great, but it's all right. The plot of that game is the evil genius Arcade kidnaps the X-Men. Spider-Man goes to try to help him out, then he gets kidnapped, and they're all sent to Murder World, and they have to escape Murder World. His theme park.
Yeah, it's in Chicago. Yeah, basically it's Chicago.
It might be for all I know, Murder World in the game is in Chicago, and it's like,
yeah, right.
He just takes over the theme park, and the theme park has evil robots in it, and you as Spider-Man and the various X-Men have to stop and beat Arcade. And of course he escapes at the end, and it's just a robot you defeat, and then he blows up the park and they escape. Because it's a comic book, nothing finishes. The awful, completely horrible, if I'm following the angry video game nerd, Silver Surfer game on the NES, which I heard is quite terrible, but that is also being included in this collection. So I actually don't mind it if they include a couple of bad games in a collection because it's history.
Yeah.
As long as up front you're let's be honest, I'm really paying for this game to get the Avengers arcade game and the X-Men arcade game. But if they want to include mid-tier to even bad games, I'm okay with that. It's history. So I at this point I'm okay with it. But I really want to play that Avengers arcade game. You can play as Iron Man, so that's kind of neat. All right, moving on to another. This is one that Limited Run Game is apparently making themselves. This is a He-Man retro brawler. Like you remember the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game?
Sure.
They're doing it like that, except it's with the He-Man characters. That's what it looks like.
Sounds like a very potentially fun type of game.
It might be if you're a He-Man fan. Yeah,
I was just gonna say at this point, if you're a He-Man fan, you're so beaten down. It's really, really hard to get excited about anything. So let's not make any assumptions about what we're actually going to get here.
Let's see. He-Man and the Masters Universe. Dragon Pearl of Destruction is a retro-inspired 2D brawl based on the classic 80s cartoon. Players control He-Man, Teela, and other iconic heroes as they fight Skeletor and Evil Lyn across 12 levels in a quest to save Eternia. Players can utilize character-specific moves, abilities, and power-ups to stop Skeletor's ancient ritual threatening Eternia. Battle Cat, He-Man's loyal companion, also joins the fight as a playable ally. Okay, well, that's kind of interesting. Designed as a tribute to the franchise's classic cartoons characters, developer Bitmap Bureau. I'm buying it. I'm not even a He-Man fan. I'm going to buy this game now. I'm a big fan of Bitmap Bureau. They made that Terminator 2D game I talked about a few months ago.
Oh yes,
They're
okay,
making this, so I'm done. I'm on board. They're a British developer. They're making.
okay,
They're
yeah, that would sell me too. Sure,
yeah. They're kind of making the games that we always wish they made back in the day, and now
right,
they're making them now. So the animation looks rather good. It looks like kind of the cartoon, but like in this a side-scrolling beat 'em up. So
right.
yeah, I think if you're a fan, Dragon Pearl Destruction is one of the most exciting ways we're bringing Mattel's brands to life through digital games, says Erica Winterhaller, head of business development digital games at Mattel back in August. It's a love letter to those who grew up with He-Man, combining nostalgic visuals with fast-paced modern gameplay. Our goal is to honor the franchise's legacy while introducing it to a new generation of players. Okay, I don't know how Mattel is viewed in the toy community, but that sounded good, right?
Well,
Are they as bad as
Mattel,
Hasbro?
yeah, pretty
Okay,
much,
okay.
especially with their what I don't know what their crowdfunding, equivalent of HasLab is, but they've got that too. They did a really ill-advised Eternia playset. Uh, just it's a toy company in the modern day. Let's just say that. But be that as it may, I think the biggest problem that fans have when it comes to He-Man is the licensing out and how they've been treating He-Man and
Okay.
who they've been allowing to do stuff with this brand. This might be something to actually be happy about for once.
Bitmap Bureau cares about quality. They're really good. I hope maybe to see them make an Aliens game one day. I think that'd be cool. Like make a game based on the Aliens franchise at some point. But this is also pretty cool. So and they did a great job with the Terminator game. So yeah, keep an eye on this if you're a He-Man fan. Own a modern console or PC, you may want to look into this. So yeah. Okay. See, it's not all bad tonight. We got some good stuff here. Even though I'm not usually big on limited run, I won't cut off my nose to spite my face there. And the
Not
topic I only care about, Evercade, the big Evercade news this week, the great British company that releases retro cartridges for their own retro console. They announced Activision Collection 2.
there you go.
It includes Pitfall to the Lost Caverns, River Raid 2, Hero, which is an acronym, Checkers. You've not played Checkers until you played it on the original Atari 2600. Okay.
Oh, might be
Moonsweeper.
bad.
Oh, Dragster's on here, Troy.
I told you. Yeah, there you
Dragster
go.
will be included here. Stampede, Robot Tank, Plaque Attack, some game called Oink, which I assume is a
Wait, they got
Pepper
Plaque
sequel.
Attack on there. You got to get it now, Boomer.
That's
We
why I saw Plaque Attack in the preview. I'm like, okay, I gotta look at that presentation.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got some good times, and they're also releasing Mega Cat Studios Collection number 3, which is
There you
indie
go.
games, including something called Gunball and Trick or Treat Land. So, but I like the fact that Evercade gives the indies a chance to shine. You get your own physical releases on them, so that's kind of neat. I think Mega Cat's another British brand. And they're also relating another portable device, which is based on, which is Rare, which is the company Rare, that used to be owned by Nintendo. Then Microsoft bought them out to do F-all with. And now Microsoft, for some reason, one of the few advantages of them not caring about gaming is that now they're licensing out these games to be put on other systems. But apparently, Banjo-Kazooie is going to be on this thing, which was a Nintendo 64 game where it was done in a similar style to Super Mario 64, where you had to use the analog stick to control this character in a 3D environment. I don't know how that's going to work on the thing that looks like a Game Boy,
Well,
but
I
we'll
mean,
see.
that big, plus button on the left side is kind of like your joystick.
But it's
So
not an analog stick, though.
no, good luck with
Analog.
that then.
Listen to me. I remembered when Nintendo shipped the Nintendo 64, and there you're making big. This is not a directional stick on here. This is an analog stick, which means you can adjust the speed of your character. Like you could have Mario doing a tiptoe or Mario doing a fast run just by edging your thumb on the stick. That was one of the big things it would do. Now maybe
Right.
they have a workaround around that on this device, but it's got other games on there too. It's got Snake Rattle and Roll. That was a favorite of mine back in the day. RC Pro Am, Battletoads. So, you know, I mean, it's there's some interesting things on here, and that'll be released at $69.99. But just wait for it to go on sale. They'll probably shave some about $10 off on that. But things gotten expensive now. It's because of the DRAM.
Yeah.
These used to be 60. Now they're base price. But like I said, they do go on sale every so often. These are the people that made those Atari and Tato things I gave you. It's done in a similar style to that.
And we just got to say, you know, if you're bothered by the fact that these things are getting so expensive, well, just remember that when you're loving up on your AI girlfriend. Just saying.
Look,
That's
man.
the trade-off.
Look,
That's a
man.
trade-off.
I'm thinking of what? The one on Grok? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Oh, the one that
The anime chick.
JT was
That was funny.
That was hysterical, scary though. Even he said, "Yeah, this is scary."
He was basically saying, "Look, I'm married." Like,
yeah,
and she was still saying inappropriate things to him. Like,
yeah.
Here's why I'll never use one of those, because I know someone around the other side is recording all of my disgusting things.
Right, exactly.
And then it's all, and my face is going to be on there, and they're going to blackmail me. You know, it's like,
right.
You want to cancel your subscription? Well, this might leak online. I'm just saying.
You know, exactly right. You know, you want to run for public office? We could make things very difficult for you. You might want to be friends with us.
Oh, that'd be funny now, man. You instead of real women, you're having an affair with, it'll be an AI, but people will be more ashamed of that than you having an affair with a real one. Probably.
Right.
Yes. All right, moving on to, okay, now we got to the meat of the night. Okay, the big Netflix story, or non-story, I should say. All right. Moving on to, in a stunning twist, Netflix is deciding to raise its bid to Warner Brothers, pushing David Ellison's Paramount as the winner in the battle for the fabled studio.
Yeah,
backing out.
We actually have, just so that people don't get too far ahead of us, we do know there have been updates since this, and we're going to cover those too. Those are in here as well, and that's one of the benefits to a show like this, where we only cover this stuff once a week. That allows us to bring you the updates as well. But this was pretty fast-paced stuff. A little bit exciting, I gotta say. Very interesting.
Yeah, Netflix co-CEOs Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters released a statement Thursday outlining their decision, namely that the deal is no longer financially attractive and that it was always a nice to have at the right price, not a must have at any price. Yeah, they're saying it's too much money,
right?
Even for Netflix. And apparently Bruce Campbell works for Warner Brothers, but not Bruce Campbell I'm thinking of. Okay,
right,
but,
right, exactly. Not that Bruce Campbell.
All right, and Netflix is a great company, and throughout the process, Ted, Greg, and Spence, and everyone, blah blah. David Zaslav kissing butt still.
Right.
Okay, let's move on. They're out of the picture. That's the news, and it didn't even have a good article to go with it, so I figured I'd just pick the headquarters. Those are some nice looking headquarters.
Yeah,
I thought that looked decent. Massive merger confirmed. Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery revealed details of $110 billion deal. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of money.
But
this is some big D energy here, right? This was all a part of the negotiations. Look, we got the money to throw at this. You want to take us in? Okay.
Massive merger confirmed. Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery reveals details of a $110 billion deal. It's official, for real this time. Warner Brothers Discovery is selling itself to Paramount for $31 a share in cash in a deal worth $110 billion. The companies unveiled their formal agreement on Friday. Paramount will hold a conference call and webcast on Monday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time to discuss the deal. So that'll be tomorrow. The formal announcement comes as Warner Brothers Discovery jilted Netflix, saying it received a superior proposal from David Ellison's company. That and a horse's head was in next. Well, David Zaslav woke up next to a horse's head. I'm kidding.
Right, exactly.
Netflix had 4 days to match, but declined immediately and walked away, leaving Par.
And if I can make one comment here too, this article hits less than 24 hours after I'm watching Valiant Renegade talking about how Netflix can only hold out so long because the longer this drags out, the lower their stock value goes. And the lower the stock value goes, the more expensive it is for them to try to even meet what they've already bid, let alone raise their bid. It's going to get to a point where Netflix won't be able to afford it. And then this hits, and I'm like, Valiant Renegade for the win again.
Okay, Warner Brothers in the hands of the makers of Starfleet Academy. So this is what I'm going to say to that. Now, frankly, Paramount, I know Kurtzman's contract comes up in August. I don't know
Yeah.
where they're at because these are the
Keep in
Skydance
mind that
people that took over.
keep in mind that these are not the same people that hired Kurtzman, that had
No,
anything to do
they're
with
not the
it.
one that renewed
In
his
fact,
contract.
They
These are new
really,
PDs.
really don't like them at all.
That's
And
what I'm hearing
And
behind
these
the
are also
scenes.
not
But
even the same Skydance people that were behind the J.J. Abrams films either. You got to really, don't just look at the name of a company and just assume that this is the same company you remember. Disney is not the same Disney that was Disney under Walt. Okay, so just keep these things in mind and pay attention to who's actually holding the reins.
we're going to see. Basically, in my opinion, this right now is kind of an unknown quantity.
Exactly.
That's how I'm looking at this. I'm not going to praise it. I'm not going to condemn it yet because I just don't know. Frankly, Warner Brothers was done. Period. They can't sustain themselves. I think they're in way too much debt. I think this has been a cumulative thing going back to the days of AOL when AOL bought them out, which was a disaster. I don't know how that happened, and that should have been stopped back in the day because I think
I
that
did
was the
want to
beginning of the end.
speak to what Jesse Guajardo was saying. I agree with you on Suck It Netflix. He said, Troy, I hope Netflix goes chapter 11 after so many mistakes. The problem is they're still kind of too big for that to be the case. Yes, they have made a lot of mistakes, but they've also got a lot going for them. By backing out of this, I think it's the best thing for them. It's probably going to allow for a correction in their stock price. It'll tick back up, and maybe they've learned some lessons and will back off some of the stupidity that they've been doing. We'll see.
So the entire year 2025, the company faced even steeper challenges. You talk about Paramount, I'm assuming, here, not War, or maybe it was Warner Brothers you talking about there. I don't see how Paramount can throw this kind of money around. I can tell you that this gentleman right here that you're looking at, his father is worth like 220 something $billion. He's one of
These are some
he
of the
comes to a
richest
family
people in
people
the
in the
world.
world.
They make FU money look like something to be held onto. They are very, very wealthy.
Now I don't know if that's where that money is coming from. Maybe. I don't know, but it's we'll see what happens. Let me keep reading this though. The formal announcement comes after Warner Discovery jilted Netflix saying it received a superior proposal from David Ellison Company. Paramount said the merged company is committed to producing a minimum of 30 theatrical films annually. 15 per 15 per studio per year. It promised film will receive full theatrical releases with a minimum 45-day window globally and current industry standard time home video prior to availability on subscription streaming services. Doubts around Netflix's ultimate commitment to theatrical and intermediate windows was a major concern for exhibitors, many in the Hollywood community. The merger is expected to close around the third quarter of 2026, subject to regulatory clearances and approval by Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders, with a vote expected in early spring. So it's not done yet, but it's coming, I guess. Yeah. Paramount expects over $6 billion in cost synergies. Short for cost savings, it cited a combination of technology integration, such as migrating the combined company to a single enterprise resource planning system and consolidating streaming technology stacks. So basically, we're not managing Paramount Plus and HBO. It'll be a combination of the two, probably, right? So
Yeah, and this is something I had said about this. That there are synergies, that's true, but there are elements of Warner Brothers that they probably don't want to reinvent the wheel on.
yeah.
So yeah.
The transaction is funded by $47 billion equity, fully backed by the Ellison family and Redbird Capital Partners. So it's not just them. They put in $47 billion. That's not chump change.
Yeah.
I could live a few lifetimes on that. But at closing, the equity may include other strategic and financial partners. Paramount did not name them, but it's previously hostile tender included backing from a public investment fund, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, El Holding Company, PSG, Abu Dhabi, and Qatar Investment Authority, Qatar. Okay, well,
Mhm.
they can invest. I mean, I don't think there's
Yeah.
any rule against that. I mean, this is just they're in another country. Affinity Partners, the investment fund of President Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, had also been involved, but withdrew. Ditto for China's Tencent. I'm glad Tencent's not involved. Yikes! Get them
Exactly.
out of there.
Exactly right.
The combined company will own a film of more than 15,000 titles and thousands of hours of television programming with franchises including Harry Potter, Mission Impossible, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, the DC Universe, Teenage Ninja Turtles, Transformers, Star Trek, and SpongeBob SquarePants. Can we please get a decent Blu-ray set of Dirty Harry again?
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Considering that my DVDs are probably rotting away because of Warner Brothers' moronic
Right. Right.
distribution thing. Combined with sports rights include the NFL, Olympics, UFC, PGA Tour, NHL, Big Ten, Big 12 football, NCAA college basketball, and Champions League, and the ability to distribute these rights collectively across all its platforms. Whew, that's a lot of sports right there.
Yep.
The merged company will have massive portfolio of cable networks that will include CNN, to the alarm of some lawmakers and many in the news. Business given shifts at CBS since David Ellison acquired control. Well, I don't know if CNN can get any worse, so we'll see what happens. So yeah, Paramount is said to be well positioned to invest in that growth. Okay, let's move on to the next one because I think this goes into details. Go to the next article here. Are people excited? Here's the deal. I understand that none of this was the ideal. I think this is better than Netflix getting Warner Brothers, because at least movies will still be made and given theatrical windows, and at least Paramount, whatever I want to say about Star Trek Discovery, you can buy all the seasons on DVD because they believe in digital media and physical
Right.
media.
Yeah.
Oh wait, this is David Zaslav. Hold on. Did I not link this article? Just ignore me for a second while I find out where I'm going. Blah blah blah.
I can
There
start
we go.
reading. Oh, okay.
No, I got it. Okay, 2.5 months after Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav touted the deal to sell Warner Bros. Netflix at December's 5th town hall, he tried to do the same this morning about the studio's new buyer, Paramount. This Friday, 8 a.m. Zoom town hall was shorter. It lasted just over 20 minutes, and the mood was very different, with employees still reeling from the shocking news yesterday that Netflix dropped out after Warner Bros. Discovery went for Paramount's superior author. Why are they angrier about Paramount than they were about Netflix?
Yeah, good question.
It makes me wonder. Where really the envy of the industry was Zaslav's top line in the town hall, in which he was joined by Chief Revenue and Strategic Officer Bruce Campbell and CFO Gunnar Wiedenfels. I'm sorry, I keep thinking Ash from the
I
Evil
know.
Dead is in the room.
Me too.
They started by walking staffers through the process of Paramount's courtship and how they went from $19 a share to $31 a share in the bid. The trio acknowledged that they are still wrapping their heads around the turnaround, and they were surprised by the speed at which it came together. Zaslav called it a whiplashy, one source said. An employee called the trio's performance tenuous and timid. You can tell that there was a level of sheepiness trying to sell that bigger is better, the person said. Another source told us that Zaslav aimed to be sincere, but his words felt a bit tone deaf when he told employees that the buyers want Warner Bros. Discovery because of all of you, and seemingly credited the 2 rounds of layoffs for improving the company's financial standing. They're probably expecting a bunch of layoffs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Overall, the town hall was described as cringeworthy, with participants saying they walked away from it shocked and melting down. Okay, well, that's not pleasant. So, yeah. I wonder what Grace Randolph has to say about all this. I'm kidding.
Tim's oh God, don't even get me started.
I'm kidding.
Tim Hayes says the Ellisons are conservatives. Netflix are more wokey woke, like the liberal Democrats like. Well, I think that might be a little overstating. I especially agree with you on the second part of it. Netflix very much did appeal to, and this really put a lot of the lefties in a quandary, because whereas they've been very much in favor of Netflix being in charge of CNN and news and blah blah blah, and being able to keep a stranglehold on their ideological propaganda, they also realized that Netflix was not good for the entertainment industry overall. The union, SAG-AFTRA, the cinemas, the physical media, and so forth. So that really put them in a difficult position. To say the Ellisons are conservative, the daddy is.
Well,
I'm not so sure the son
don't
is.
care. I don't care. I care about whether or not they're just interested in making, entertaining movies that aren't shoving
Yeah,
politics down people's throats. That's all I want. I just want to return back
I
to
agree.
normal. I don't care how they vote. That's their business. Okay. I just want to
Right,
return to
exactly.
normalcy in
And
my
let's face it,
entertainment.
it's also, what have you seen come out of the Ellisons, and and then on the other side there's Cuties. Okay,
Well, I'm
just
trying to think. Skydance that gave us Maverick. Like we need more movies like that coming out.
right. True.
Oh, this is him being Zaza. Dear haters, I'm running with huge bundles of money under my arm. Yeah, pwned. Love David's. Basically, yeah, he should just do that. I have to say, Zaslav was there to sunset the brand. He was there to sunset the studio. Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah,
what I think.
yeah.
To
He
paraphrase.
needed to be gone a long time ago. And anybody who suspected, oh, good, he's going to rescue us from Snyder. Well, how did that work out for you people?
I know some of you are upset about how like you're worried about the cartoons, even though you mentioned a lot of them are showing up in Tubi. But Warner Brothers has not been doing anything decent with the cartoons as of late. In fact, their new cartoons have to all take place in that Gunverse as far as the DC cartoons go, which I
Right.
don't like. I preferred it when they were their separate things. So if your movies suck, at least your animated universe might be interesting. But
Which
um,
was the case during the Snyder era. So
it
yeah.
was the case during the Schumacher era. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. True.
Uh, I don't know. Batman Forever has some good points to it. Don't even get me started on Batman and Robin. But what was I going to say though? Uh, Warner Brothers, I have to say, they did some terrible DVDs recently. I remember. I think Tom from Midnight's Edge was arguing, or was on one of those Midnight's Edge streams where they were arguing about Batman the Animated Series,
Mhm.
about how the sound mastering on some of the episodes on the Blu-ray, I mean, I haven't noticed it, but they weren't quite what they should have been in some of the later episodes. Like the sound felt off to them. And they
Mhm.
said, well, it's okay on the old DVDs. Yeah, the DVDs that are now rotting away, you mean? And then like, well, at least the
Exactly.
digital versions are okay. And it's like, what are you doing to me? It's like, that's
Yeah.
one thing I hope that I can redeem those digital versions that Zaslav took away from me. Paramount buys them out. Maybe those digital codes will work again and I can redeem them. So we'll see. That's why I don't hold them out. I'll throw them out even if they say they're expired. I'll hold on to them until maybe they work later. I don't know though. I Will Paramount do better? We'll see. I'm not. In fact, let's get into that right now.
Yeah.
Paramount's plan for Warner Brothers Discovery, HBO Max AI production, and DC Studios revealed. That word AI again. Okay, we just did a stream
Yeah.
about that a couple weeks ago. Yesterday, the news broke that Netflix will not match Paramount Skydance's offer for Warner Brothers Discovery, leaving Ellison family-owned studio to acquire the company's film, television, and cable network assets. According to Bloomberg, Paramount intends to keep much of the company intact, with Chief Executive Officer and controlling shareholder David Ellison set to keep the creative teams at both Warner Brothers Pictures and HBO in place. That likely bodes well for DC Studios co-CEOs James Gunn and Peter. The biggest challenge will be consolidation of marketing and distribution. So we are going to be keeping the Gunverse.
Yep. At least in the short term. I let's face it. I mean, I could have told you this. They've already got stuff in the pipeline. That stuff is got contracts
They're
in place and whatnot. They're not going to waste what they've done. They're going to go ahead with what's in the pipeline, and that. But evaluation will be happening if they
they're
don't.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're waiting on performance. Let's see how these things do.
Exactly. Exactly.
Ellison plans to merge HBO Max with the existing Paramount Plus streaming platform, so HBO Max will be no more, creating one service featuring the libraries of both companies to make Paramount Plus more compelling for subscribers. That's actually a very good idea. The report also reveals that Ellison will leverage artificial intelligence to produce and make more movies and TV shows and intends to release 30 films a year from the combined companies. He's a big supporter of the theatrical experience. However, there are some concerns about David and his billionaire father Larry and their close ties to President Donald Trump. As Paramount will soon own CBS News and CNN.
See, the funny thing though is, from a business standpoint, you should see that as a positive. If they are in well with the current administration, that can only be good for business. One could argue, as evidenced by the way things are shaping up here.
As far as AI, they're not saying how they're using AI. For all I know, this will be used to proofread scripts, or maybe just to
I was just
make sure you're not stealing anyone's idea. We don't get sued. They could be doing that. I mean,
there are a lot of, and that's actually a great example of there are great. I was talking last week, or was it the week before, about an interview with Thomas Dolby on the Mythfits podcast, and he was talking about how using AI he was able to compile for himself a list of songs from a certain era that fit a certain criteria, and then correlate them together as he was picking songs to kind of blend together to do his own compositions with. Right. He wasn't using the AI to make any compositions. He certainly doesn't need to. Right. He was doing all the research paperwork type stuff that leads into, just like I almost said Big Al. If Weird Al was going to do a parody of a song, he would say to the AI, "Can you tell me what key the song is in?" Okay, and right. And then okay, and then print me out the lyrics, and can you find me a rhyme for this word? That would be a big time saver, stuff he would do on his own that you can do in seconds with AI. There are a lot of legitimate business uses for AI. But I think the other thing is, a lot of these executives that are talking about AI don't understand it. Even the fact that we keep using this term AI, these large language models are not in AI. Any way actual artificial intelligence. So people really do not understand it. But at least if all they're saying is, we will find a way to leverage every tool we have, that's a positive thing that I expect to hear.
Yeah, so we'll see. Again, it's how they use it. I don't want to replace in the creative process, except with regards to Star Trek, because it can't do worse. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely. Well, honestly, I see fans using AI to create Star Trek content, fan film type things, right? And I'm going, yeah, this is actually better than Starfleet Academy, but that's not a very high bar, I'm not even saying this stuff is good. It's just better than that.
It's just they need to hire better writers, and it needs to be based on merit, not on who your daddy is, or who just you want to create 30 films a year. Start taking in spec scripts. I bet there are a lot of budding screenwriters out there. People used to make money writing spec scripts and just send them off to studios. Get paid. Maybe bring that system back. That might be an idea, rather than going with what is it, established properties like Battleship. Let's make a movie based on a board game.
A board game, yeah.
Battleship. It would have been funny, like if it would have been about like people like in a battleship competition. That might have been a more interesting movie than whatever they did. But so let's move on to big box office hit this weekend. Actually, do you have anything to say about Paramount though before we move on?
No, I think there's still a lot of unknowns, so I don't want to over assume what's going to happen. But I let's just say I'm glad it didn't go to Netflix. But there's still a lot of questions about Paramount, so we will see.
WGA. I have to tell you, when that last bound of strikes happened, I felt like some of these groups, there were adults in the room, some of them there weren't. Like with the Directors Guild of America, what I learned about them, they were very professional. They started negotiating a year prior, so when the deadline came up, they didn't have to go on strike because they had already met their goals. And
Right.
I am always unaware of this as a mere commenter on this. I didn't realize that the Writers Guild and the Screen Guild, they could actually start negotiating in advance and get
There
all their
is
ducks in a row so
nothing
there
that
doesn't have to be
says that.
lost time.
It's not like an election where it has to be a certain time. You can start anytime you want.
So I felt like the
Um,
Directors Guild were the ones that were acting like professionals during that whole thing, and then you have these other groups that were just. Don't even get me started on the Actors Guild.
right. Joshua V says the Captain Planet DVDs and Blu-rays were okay. Okay. I'm
Oh
sure, from what I understand, there was a bunch that were okay. There was just a bunch that weren't. It was
no,
all
oh, go ahead.
what? It was all
What
ones that came out of a particular
during a particular time? Yes.
yeah, certain batches and whatnot. It's just that it was a big set of batches, and a lot of people got really screwed.
What did I do? I have a bunch of Warner Brothers Blu-rays and DVDs. Warner Brothers were the original big proponents of DVD technology when it came out. I remember. And I do own a lot of Warner Brothers Blu-rays and whatnot. But it's funny though because I remember a few weeks back, I have some of the Peanut specials on DVD. Right, I have like
Right.
like a collection of the holiday
I've
specials and a
gotten a
collection.
lot of them. Yeah.
And then suddenly I didn't know when this had come out, a complete collection of like all the specials on Blu-ray. I'm like,
Huh.
wow, I've been wanting a fully complete collection for a while, and on Blu-ray, this is great. And I
Yeah.
almost bought it, and then suddenly people were giving it bad reviews on Amazon, and then I do research, and it turns out some of the episodes included
Uh huh.
were so badly mastered, and people are like, well, why is this in this day and age? Aren't these on Apple, and don't they look good on Apple? Why do they look so bad in this Blu-ray set? And then I'm like, who put this out? And of course I did the math. Oh, of course it was Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on, man. Oh, moving on
So
to.
so again, that might be another upside to the Paramount moving in
So I
situation.
canceled. I'm like, I'll just deal with the stuff I have already. I mean,
Yeah.
it's fine. Scream 7 did extremely well this weekend.
Yeah,
Which
it
is
did.
interesting. Yeah, Midnight's Edge did a whole story about how there's a split in the community about this movie too. But
Oh, I'll
uh,
have to look into that. I actually, to be honest with you, I literally have it in my watch later. I was really busy today, so I didn't get a
it's
chance to
over
watch much
Melissa
of anything.
Barrera getting fired for her comments on the Israel Gaza thing a couple of years
Uh,
ago. And to be fair, she was good in those movies. She played the you find out. I don't want too much spoilers, but you find out in the requel that she's the illegitimate daughter of the killer from the first Scream movie.
sure.
Okay, and like she's worried that she has part of him in her, the killer instinct. So it was kind of interesting, but this one kind of brings it back to Sydney, and uh, you, it sounds good. They got Kevin Williamson to direct it. He's the guy that wrote the original Scream movies back in the
Yeah.
day, so he's directing this one. So, but here you go. David Ellison, owner Paramount, can claim their first #1 opening of the year for an NPA title as Spyglass's Scream 7 roared to a franchise best opening of the year with 64.1 million domestic opening and 97.2 million opening worldwide. But that's not all as far as records go. It's the best horror opening ever for Paramount, besting Paranormal Activities 3, $52 million opening, and the best opening ever for a February horror movie ahead of 2001's Hannibal, 58 million. To break the franchise's opening record with the seventh installment speaks to the lasting strength of this franchise, Ghostface's staying power as an iconic villain, and the exceptional cast and filmmakers who brought it to life, said Sean Barber, Paramount's head of domestic theatrical distribution. The success of Scream 7 is a confluence of both nostalgic fans and a new generation embracing the franchise. Reads 77% of the audience was between 18 and 44. Getting Scream 7 booked in IMAX was also a huge deal, particularly as it coincided with the 30th anniversary celebration of Ghostface. All of this building toward the weekend we're seeing. What about the backlash from the uncasting Mr. Barrera? Certainly that was out there online among the portion of fans. However, Paramount's marketing mission was to create enough desire positively surrounding the installment timed to the franchise's 30th anniversary and Nev Campbell's return. It helps that there is a core fan base on a movie that the studio can keep a constant dialogue with. It all leads to this was a selling point of the
Imagine
campaign.
keeping a constant dialogue with a fan base, and actually, caring what fans have to say.
This could be
What a
used
crazy idea!
this could be used as a model going forward by this. I'm
Like to
sure
think so.
Ellison is taking notice of this. This was a big hit.
Yeah.
And historic franchise record-breaking box office is a testament to the enduring legacy created by our director Kevin Williamson 30 years ago, led by the incomparable Nev Campbell, breakout star Isabel May, legacy stalwart Courtney Cox, and the entire cast. Yeah, I wish I had
I
time to go see
noticed
this
that
right
whenever
now.
I looked up a movie poster for this, they all were just like some what is it, scream face guy in the background, and then like all the headshots of all the people that were coming back. I'm like, that's a big selling point, I guess.
That's how they did the posters for the original Scream, at least when they did the VHS releases. You could buy a different VHS cover and it had a different actor on the cover back in the day when that came out. That was a big deal.
Interesting.
Nev Campbell, yes, she's a nice looking lady, yes. But yeah, she's back, and her teenage daughter's in this too, so this looks rather good.
Wait,
the Scream movies
is it actually her daughter in real life?
No, it's her daughter in the movie.
Okay.
She may have a daughter in real life, and for all I know, it is her. I don't know, but no, it's her character had a daughter, and that's what it is in this movie. Now the daughter is a teenager experiencing the ghost face tormenting her daughter now with the phone call. Do you understand? So it's like
inheriting the kind of the curse of the mother's
Laurie Strode or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm sure it's a lot of fun. I always have fun with Scream movies, even the lesser Scream movies are still kind of fun to watch. And my favorites are still 1, 4, and the requel that was titled Scream. Those are my 3 favorites so far. But you know what? I think this could be good on Paramount, good on Kevin Williamson coming back to the fray. I haven't heard his name in a while, so it's good that he got a directing job. And this is kind of what I want to see, actually. This is what I would like Geeky Geezers to be, just talking about, exciting new movies coming out.
Stuff that's coming out. Yeah, exactly.
Instead of stuff that's being torn down and destroyed. So congratulations to the actors and the directors and Paramount on this success. So, yes. Wow, look at that. That's so weird. It's...
I know, right?
It's like normal. It's like I'm back. It's like I'm back in 2013 or 2012 before the nonsense started. It's like, wow.
Right.
Okay, so good on you and Paramount. Maybe use this as a benchmark going forward. So yeah, okay. There we go. Good things. Because I'm getting kind of tired of the depressing thing. And another good story tonight we'll talk about briefly, because I don't want to spend too much time on this because we got to wrap it up. But DVDs are the new vinyl records. Why Gen Z is embracing physical media.
I love.
I've noticed this with some young people I know in real life. They're starting to get into physical media buying. I think something triggered them. So before the lights dim for the film, the lady from Shanghai at Vidiots, Aidan Grannon and Jason Fine were basically pursuing the aisles of endless DVDs for these young cinemaphiles. The Eagle Rock Hug isn't just a theater, it's a gateway to film history. In a matter of minutes, 24-year-olds found themselves in the thick of the Star Wars DVD and Blu-ray collections, reminiscing about the special features they enjoyed as kids. But for them, collecting and watching DVDs isn't merely a childhood memory. They've rediscovered the medium as adults. I want something I can put on my shelf, Gannon said, having recently collected 200 discs. I can go shopping in my closet and grab something and pop it in instead of just spending an hour scrolling through Netflix to find something and then just turning on the same TV show. Look at this, huh?
That's also very, very encouraging.
Have we turned a corner here? Are the kids all right? Maybe they are. Okay.
Absolutely hope so.
You just described my weekend for retro cinema.
Yeah,
turn around,
exactly.
Pull a movie off the shelf and go, this is what we're watching this week.
There you go. And I think maybe this could be a thing going forward with the kids. Just, it's kind of cool to have your own DVD. I was in my storage yesterday. I was looking for some movie I couldn't find, but I found an old movie called The Limey from Steven Soderbergh with the great Terrence Stamp in the lead in that movie. And it's basically Terrence Stamp versus Peter Fonda.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because he thinks that Peter Fonda killed his daughter, and it's basically it's English baby boomer versus American baby boomer. That's how I see this movie, and even though it's an old DVD I purchased back in the '90s, it still upscales great. It looked good for an old DVD on my modern TV. So some of those old DVDs and even regular DVDs look okay when you're upscaling them. And so
Yeah.
basically, the kids are getting into the same way vinyl records saw a resurgence among millennial customers. DVDs are enjoying a comeback with some Gen Z buyers, even though the discs no longer drive significant studio profits yet. DVD
Yeah.
sales have been falling for years, dropping more than 20% in 2023 and 2024 alone. However, the fall off slowed substantially last year when sales of DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4K Ultra HD declined just 9%, according to the Trade Association Digital Entertainment Group. In turn, boutique Blu-ray companies like the Criterion Collection are similarly on the rise. As one of the leading independent home video sellers specializing in classic and contemporary films, Criterion confirmed the Times that the company's sales are seeing a significant year-over-year increases. I see that's where I think a lot of the stuff with DVDs and Blu-rays are at right now with the boutique labels. For instance, that Buck Rogers set you bought, that
Yep.
was Kino. They're kind of a lower end boutique label, but and like
I
so
was
what?
so pleased to get that. I was so happy. So happy.
So I think what it is studios. If you don't want to put out physical media, that's fine. There are plenty of third parties that will do the work for you, and you'll get a cut of the profits. And
Yeah.
so if you don't want to do the physical media yourselves, just keep in mind that there are other people that will do it for you. And so if this younger generation wants to own physical media, we should really let them. And
Yeah.
Jen, what's physical media? They probably didn't know what physical media was. It's like, yeah, remember that stuff I had when I was a kid, and now everything modern. I also think maybe I think streaming really got pushed during the pandemic, and I think people are so over all this crap for the pandemic.
Oh,
And
I agree.
I think maybe we're doing it, and it's a great article. They go into more detail in it. It's a fun read, but good on them. And it's always good to own your favorite movies. Even TV shows. So old games are oh, who was saying that Real Raid Nation about games? Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of older games are rather expensive. That's why I like companies like Evercade, where they're putting out new cartridges themselves. And to be fair, I think Retrobit do republish like old NES cartridges and Sega Genesis cartridges sometimes too, so you can buy new cartridges for those systems. But okay, that wraps it up.
There we go. That's another one down.
Not a
So
bad night. I don't want to say Paramount's an unknown, but it can't be worse than what would happen with Netflix. I can say that. Go ahead.
I agree. I agree. People are always quick to say, well, the better the devil you know than the devil you don't. I'm not so sure about that.
Well, yeah. Plus, they keep saying Skydance is the devil we don't know. Skydance has made some great movies, and they were committed to a big theatrical window for Maverick.
Yeah.
Even though there was pressure of them not to. Skydance has been in the background doing good stuff. I've not had anything bad to say about Skydance itself. So when they bought out Paramount, I'm like, they have to do better. Now, in my opinion, the big test is for what they do with their stuff like Star Trek.
Right.
You gotta get rid of Kurtzman and maybe look into remastering Voyager and Deep Space Nine. I think,
and it does take time. They can't just come in and start, like a bull in a china shop.
Yeah.
But you're not wrong. That is absolutely true. So
yeah. But go back when you have the time and money, fix those old series, and for a new generation to watch. And then in the meantime, you can work on whatever you're planning with Star Trek going forward, and just make it good and hire good writers, hire people wanting to work,
true,
wanting to prove themselves and wanting to be good at what they do, instead of people that are just doing this because. I tell you, I was watching a film threat thing, and the guy was saying that he was in a writers' convention or something for screenwriters, and he said it looked like the cast of Star Trek, Starfleet Academy.
Oh my
and
god!
A lot of these people, they're all these trust fund kids from the rich people in Hollywood, and they're just handed these jobs, and it's like, no, we have to move on from this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care if you come from money, but you have to be good at your job, okay?
Right. Exactly.
All right, so we have a reserved seats coming up shortly.
Absolutely.
So
So if you are on my
channel,
channel or Netter's channel, make sure you stay right where you are. We will chauffeur you over to Deleted Scenes. Deleted Scenes, who is part of the new media, who is in every way, I believe, an up-and-coming professional in the media sphere. So he deserves your respect. Let's go support him, because it does no good to complain about the legacy. You got to support
yes.
you got to support the people taking the reins. And then immediately after that, hopefully you guys can come back if you're feeling like a late night. We're going to be wrapping up the reconstruction of Marco Polo from Doctor Who. Lost media that definitely it's a story that should not be forgotten just because it is lost media. So we're going through and watching Doctor Who, celebrating each and every story, and we'll be wrapping up Marco Polo tonight.
And is that the last one that it's not like showing like a regular episode?
Yes. After this, we're going into the Keys of Marinus for the next 3 weeks. The next 3 episodes. There might be a break because of MegaCon, but the Keys of Marinus are all complete episodes, not reconstructions. So
cool.
During this reconstruction, does the baby from Ally McBeal pop on? And
it's not quite that bad.
Okay.
It's Netter years ago when I first went through these with her, she said this is like watching your uncles and aunts slides of their vacation. It's like, I know it's not the best viewing experience.
Yeah,
but we're being completist here.
The way that I look at it is, think of it more like a radio drama. Don't try to watch it, just listen.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
That's probably the way to go. Yeah.
And it's a little bit easier on your eyes if you just listen, because if I try to watch it, forget it.
Yeah.
So, do we want to run through the week, or do you think we just want to wrap it up?
Now because I don't think we have time. I want to be a professional and get everybody over to Deleted Scenes. So
just make sure you're
knows where we are and when we are.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, just make sure you're subscribed and that you hit that notification bell so you know when we have stuff coming up.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.